Welcome to the session. Topic of this session is policy failures in agriculture. You are aware that the agriculture policy or any policy, they have a special program, a special scheme, a special plan from the government, from a private organization or a civil society organization to achieve a desired goal, desired objective, on the intended users or the beneficiary. So, basically agriculture, when we talk about agriculture policy, it is a intended or some plan of action to achieve the desired goal on the target beneficiary. We can say the farmers, we can say the traders, we can say the the woman, or we can say a particular group of people in the society, sometimes consumer also, So, we have different types of the target people, targeted peoples which we want to benefit it out of the the policy action. So, framing a good agriculture policy is very complex task, because it involves different type of the people, starting from the we have different stakeholders, the farmers, the civil society, the organizations, or the people of different areas, sometimes the animal husbandry farmers, the crop farmers, So, different types of stakeholders are there, the academicians, researchers, they are also the stakeholders. Then we have different key actors which are directly involved in the policy formulation process, and then all these stakeholders and key actors, they have their different objectives, different intention, and they have the policy actions in different directions. So, sometimes actually the finding the right policy agenda is also a very difficult task, and the arriving a common consensus to achieve the desired outcomes, that is also very difficult task. So, and the identifying of the policy agenda or the fixing the objective of policy action, it itself is a very difficult task to achieve, to fix. So, it is a very complex process, and there are different types of instruments in agriculture policies, and which type of instruments is useful. So, the different stakeholders or key actors, they have different opinion which type of the instruments should be used in the agriculture policy process. So, it is a basically very complex phenomena formulating a good agriculture policy, making a policy a implementable policy. So, so actually in this session we are going to discuss what are the different regions. From that regions, actually we are not able to achieve the desired objectives of the policy which are which have been framed, which are going to be framed. So, basically there are a description, there is a difference between the intended objectives and the actually achieved objectives. So, that difference between the intended or the achieved objectives, we can call the policy failure. So, in this session basically we are going to learn about the meaning of the policy failures and what are the major reasons of policy failure in agriculture sector. So, these are the major agenda, or not only the policy formulation is important, but also the implementation of the policy also very important. So, all these aspects we are going to discuss in this session, and learning objective of this session is to explain the agriculture policy, its different components, general objectives and common instruments, and then discuss the policy failure in agriculture in the common context and theoretical as well as the operational context. So, basically in this session, basically first we will little understand about the agriculture policy, what is the agriculture policy, its different components, its objectives and common instruments, because the policy, when we define the policy, basically it is the difference between the targeted and the achieved. So, in order to understand the policy failures, let us in brief discuss about what is the agriculture policy, and then we will move to the policy failure aspect. So, basically here in introduction we can define the policy failure as a inability of a policy to achieve the set objectives or reach the ultimate goals. So, actually policy failure means we are unable to achieve the set objectives, or we could not reach the ultimate goal of the policy. And sometimes what happens, when we implement the policy, that policy produce unanticipated adverse impact on the society or in the target group which we are not targeting in the policy. So that's why that is also a kind of policy failure. So actually we need to have a successful agriculture policy in developing country like India, because we have the limited resources, and we have to utilize our resources very judiciously. So that's why we need to make the successful agriculture policy, and making a successful agriculture policy is a challenge before the politicians, before the academicians, before the bureaucrats, farmers organizations, society agent, and also the other concerned. Agriculture policy or policy basically is an instrument in the hands of the politicians, because in like a democratic country like India, the politicians are the main actors. So basically it is a instruments in the hands of the politician to deal with the general public issues with an eye on their political aspirations. So actually it is a tool to deal the political aspiration, political objective of the politicians. So actually they frame the agriculture policy keeping in mind their target or in their objectives to satisfy the requirement of the people whom they have the people they have elected, the politicians. So politicians, they want to fulfill their political agenda. So agriculture policy is a policy related to agriculture and allied field, and purpose of agriculture policy depends on the distinct segment and unique features that agriculture a country possesses. So actually when we talk about the India or developing country, our agriculture has some distinct segments, some unique features. So the policy purpose is depend on this distinct features and segment of the agriculture sectors. There are different unique features of the Indian agriculture which make it different from the industrial sector or manufacturing sector or agriculture of the we can say the advanced country. Like our agriculture is over dependent on the natural factors like rain, temperatures for the production activity in the agriculture sector, because we still have large area under the rain-fed agriculture. So if there is a rainfall, we can have the sowing of the crops. So that's why the agriculture is dependent on the natural factors. Then another distinct feature of agriculture is there is an overplay of the land vis-a-vis the other factor of production like capital. So agriculture is the most important factors for the production of the agriculture or agriculture activities, and we required large area under and the crops. So land is the most important, and also we need capitals, particularly when we have the commercial agriculture where we used to have the mechanization, we use the high yielding varieties, we use the chemical fertilizers, the pesticides. So capital also, the money also important factors in the agriculture. And we have the large number of the small and scattered holdings which are in the large number, around 80% of our land holding are from the small or marginal category. So they have in different places, not at a places, at one places. So adopting the holding and the production technology is difficult on the small scale of land or small land. holding. So that is another feature of Indian agriculture. Then seasonability and location specificity of the production. Actually, the agriculture production is a seasonal, like wheat crop will be in the rabi season, so harvesting will be in the March or April. So we have the seasonability in agriculture production, but the demand is throughout the years. Then another important features of agriculture is the location specific. The certain crops they are specified to a particular locality. Then perishability and bulkiness of the produce is also important unique features, because we have the quantity is large, but the value is not that much large, and so we deal with the bulk product, and the keeping quality, the perishability is more. We cannot keep the produce for the longer period of time. Even when we use the warehouses or cold storage, there is a limitation. So then in case of the agriculture, the specialization of the labor or division of labor is not possible. It's very difficult, because we the same farmers, he has to do all types of activity, starting from the sowing to the the weeding to the harvesting, fertilizer application. So every types of activity of the field has to be done by a single person or the family of the person. So specialization or division of the labor is not possible. That's why we can say the efficiency of the labor is not much in agriculture sector. And then we have the different distinct segment of Indian agriculture, like the traditional and subsistence farming. This type of farming is mostly followed by the poor small farmers, the like tribal agriculture people, the homestead farms or kitchen garden. Here the purpose is to produce the crop or produce the food for the for the self consumption, for the family requirement. So that purpose is not to sell in the market, but for the self sustaining of the family. Then another type of agriculture, we have the commercial agriculture, that is basically market oriented agriculture, and basically this is followed in the irrigated regions like Indo-Gangetic Belt, we can say, where we have the sufficient irrigation facility. And here basically we grow the commercial crops like cotton, sugarcane, fruits and vegetables. So purpose is to sell the produce in the market and get some earning or some return out of selling that agriculture produce. Then another type of agriculture we have is the export oriented and high tech agriculture, like coffee, the gherkins, small and cucumber family vegetables, or the floriculture, where a purpose is to sell the agriculture produce in the foreign market to get the export earning. So it is highly commercial or high tech agriculture, we can say. So these are the different segments of agriculture which are available in the agriculture sectors. We have different objectives in agriculture sectors, and all these objectives can be defined, can be categorized into three categories. One is the economic efficiency objective, another the social equity objective, and third is the long run sustainability objective. In case of the economic efficiency objective, our objective is to maximize the productivity, or we want to optimize the returns, or we want to bring the cost effectiveness in the production activities, or actually we want to bring the efficient use of the resources by utilizing our resources in most efficient way. So here purpose is to get the maximum output per unit of the input, and actually so the economic efficiency basically is getting the more income for the farmers. So if and sometimes what happens, if our objective is to get the efficiency, and that efficiency are spread over a large number of beneficiaries, actually such policies which have the larger acceptability among the farmers, because the farmers are getting the returns, they are getting the more returns. So when we implement new policies, so farmers will easily accept such policy. Then second types of objective of agriculture policy we have is the social equity. You know, actually here the focus is more on the distribution of benefits. It means how many farmers or how many farm family will be benefited from the, you know, the will be benefited from the agriculture policy. So, you know, so actually, you know, if you know the objective of the policy is to have the advantage, to give the advantage to the large number of the people, like, you know, the recently you know announced scheme of the, you know, the net transfer to the you know money to the farmers. So around, you know, these all, you know, around 12 crore, you know, small or marginal farmers, they are getting the 6,000 rupees per month, per year. So the, you know, large where we want to cover the large number of the population. So such type of family, such type of the, you know, policy objective is also, you know, very well accepted by the farmers, by, like, you know, public distribution system, where, you know, we want to cover around, you know, more than you know 50-60% to the people of the country, and we want to provide them the food grains at the subsidized rate, at the very low cost compared to the market. So that type of objective are another, you know, social actually equity, you know, we want to achieve. We want to give the in the outcome, or we want to help the more number of the people. Then third type of objective is the long run sustainability. Here is the concern is the continuity of efficiency gain. You know, some returns, some output we are getting from the agriculture policy, in how long it will continue to get the benefit to the farmer. So how many, you know, sometimes, you know, so we have the short term objectives, sometimes we have the long term objectives. So actually here we want to give the benefit, the efficiency benefit or the equity benefit for a long term period. So so that is also another important objective of the agriculture policy. And there are different stakeholders in the agriculture policy process, like government and bureaucracy, because they are the main players. They initiate the policy actions, they frame the draft policy, and the another stakeholders is the, you know, the key player in the market and private sectors. And actually nowadays, or particularly after liberalization, the market forces are playing important role in the distribution of the resources, in the production activities, in the basically, you know, the demand and supply forces are, you know, actively working to achieve the policy objectives. And, you know, then another key players, we have the cooperatives and collectives, like, you know, after the public sector or private sector, the cooperative sector, where the group participation of the farmers, they can, you know, a check and balance on the government sector, on the private sector. So they are also important, you know, key players in the policy process. Then community and the civil society agents, like the farmers, a group of the farmers, or sometimes non-government organizations, they also influence the, you know, the people and the participation in the policy process. Then they also have some good thinking, and they have the thorough knowledge about the society, about the problems. So they also have the impact on the policy process. So they also influence the agriculture policy at a large scale. Now we will move to the policy failure in agriculture. So, you know, the only formulating a policy does not serve the purpose. Actually, it has to be implemented in the field levels, and, you know, that's why the people's participation, you know, sometimes is more important in the agriculture policy process, where large number of the people are going to be affected. So for policy failure, we can define it is basically a discrepancy between the what is intended and what actually achieved or implemented. So, you know, so if there is a difference between the intended objective or what actually have been achieved in the field, that is basically the policy. And when we talk about the policy failures, you know, there are three different contexts, you know, through which we can understand the policy failures, like general context, the theoretical context, the operational context, and, you know, the it is very important to examine sometimes the unintended external adverse effect also. Sometimes we have some policy objectives, but sometimes the unintended effect or sometimes adverse effect is also there. So we need to examine this adverse effect. Sometimes we call it as a negative externalities. So that is, if there is a negative externalities there in the society, that is also a kind of the policy failure. Let us understand the policy failures from the general or common context, and actually it is related to inadequacy in the structure and content of the policy documents. Actually, when we develop a policy documents, so there are some lacuna are there in the policy documents. So like sometimes we use some complex and technical and legal jargons which are not able to which are not understandable to the large number of the stakeholders. Actually, particularly in agriculture sectors, we have the rural peoples. Sometimes they are not very knowledgeable, we can say ki they are not so much literated, so to understand some complex terms or legal terms or technical terms. So that's why if they are not able to understand the policy, how they can implement the policy. So that is the most common problem sometimes. Then the another problems or reason for policy failure is the non-consideration of the socio-cultural sensitivity of the target group. And there are sometimes multiple objectives. There are different objectives in one policy documents, and several issues without focus. There are many things we want to cover. We want to also increase the productivity. We also increase the soil conservation. We also want to save the water, the environmental aspect. We also want to bring the market efficiency. There are many types of objectives in one policy document, and there is no clear-cut focus actually which objective we want to objective. There is no priority on the policy aspects. So in times there is a confusion, and we will not be able to achieve all the objectives. So such problems are there sometimes. Then inadequate attention to how to achieve a particular objective. So actually when there are many objectives are there are many priorities are there, so we cannot give much focus to a particular objective or particular issue. So in that condition also the policy failures may occur. And then non-delineation of the responsibility to implementing agency. Actually there is no clear-cut job description or the responsibility to a particular person or particular section of the society. So if there is no fixed responsibility is given, particularly during the implementation aspects, so there will be always some confusion, and then it cannot be implemented in very proper way. Then sometimes we have very good policy documents, we have very well identified the policy objectives, but we do not have the resources, or sometimes we have not given much time to implement the policy. In that condition we will be not able to achieve the policy objective. So we can say there will be policy failure. Then another context to understand the policy failure is the basic and theoretical context. Here failure of agriculture policy in this context is very serious one, because here the policy failure is related to the lack of synergy among the different objectives, and disharmony in the choice of the instruments, and there is imbalance in the interest of the key actors. There are different objectives we have selected, and then among the different objectives there is no proper linkages in all the objectives, and sometimes the policy instruments we have selected which are not as per the requirement of the objective. So there is a disharmony between the objective and the instruments, and sometimes we have different stakeholders or the actors in the policy process, and they have all the actors have some different interest, like in the politicians actually they want to give some more equity types of things. The bureaucrats, they want, to bring some, the efficiency type of objectives in the, so there is an imbalance between the interest of the key whole. So these are the three main reasons from which, we can say that there will be, if there is no proper synergy or harmony or balance between these objectives, instruments and actors, there will be chance to have policy failure. And we can understand more about this, like, the predominance of economic or objectives or efficiency objectives sometimes in the policy, like this is the most common actually the cause of the policy failure. Here basically the emphasis is given more on the generation of the surplus or change in the net national income. So it here lot of focus is the how we can increase the the net incremental income of the farmers, or how we can bring the more output to the nation. So how we can increase the net national income. But here in this such type of policy, distribution of the benefits and consequent social welfare is very crucial. It's not given much importance when we are having the objective of the economic efficiency, but this distribution of the benefit, basically the social equity objective is also very much important, and it has a basically social equity objective, it has a direct political bearing. So if we were not given proper equity consideration while formulating the policy, the people will not accept such type of policy. And so political, actually the political setup, they determine the best option based on the terms of beneficial and harmful effect. So if political setup, they think what type of, if they think the equity is more important than the the efficiency, they will adopt the policy of the which have more equity aspect. If they feel we need to bring the income immediately, and so they will have the more efficiency aspect. So sometimes the overemphasis on the equity consideration also have its own repercussions on the society. And then sometimes the policy failure is due to the overriding equity consideration. So if the overriding equity consideration and concerns towards the distribution and social distribution may also lead to the failure of the policy in agriculture, because it is basically populist type, populist in nature, and may serve the vote bank political objectives of the political parties who are in the power in the government, but actually they fail to achieve the desired objectives and cannot provide the tangible benefit in the long run. If more of equity aspect or distribution of benefit is there, and there is no economic returns or net increase in the farmer's income which can be measured, so sometimes farmer will say there is no benefit out of such the policy or scheme. So most important example is when we have the electricity subsidy for irrigation, irrigation pump set, such type of policy basically there is no economic benefit on immediate basis, or actually sometimes it lead to the over exploitation of the groundwater. In some of the area we have seen there is a failure of the borewell also. So such times, some negative impact is there if you have the more of an equity aspect or equity objective. So overriding equity consideration may create the problem of unsustainability in the long run. Then the neglect or overemphasis on the long term sustainability, that is also we have actually sometimes we ignore the sustainability aspect, sometimes we give overemphasis on the sustainability aspect. So basically this sustainability aspect or sustainability objective, they are related to the usage of the natural resources and environmental services. And when we have this such type of policy on the environmental, the benefits are not tangible, or actually the benefits are not visible. Actually we can see the impact only in the long run. So in the short run we cannot see the benefits. So many policy focuses on the greater efficient, like green revolution, and the genetically modified cross basically, and some policy of more equity type of objective like electricity, or sometimes both the aspects are there in the policy, have failed to address the long term sustainability. And the overemphasis on the long term sustainability to lead to the policy failures, because they does not accommodate short run gains and political interest. If you are focusing too much on the long run sustainability and there is no short run gain to the policy targeted pupils, or the even the political interest is not fulfilled, they will not easily adopt such type of policy, or so there will be policy failure. Then sometimes the market also fail to hide the estimate the policy failures, like this is also very serious policy failure, especially in the policy and programs related to the natural resources, environment and ecology. And in case of the forestry policy, we see the forestry development programs actually they provide various form of non-tangible or non-marketed benefit in addition to the timber and other products. So, from the forestry actually they provide good services to society, and basically we cannot value their services, or we cannot market their benefited. So actually this due to market failures we cannot heighten, we cannot reflect, we cannot estimate the benefits. So that is sometimes we call the policy failure. And sometimes we have the unaccounted negative externalities, like the policy or projects they create the unanticipated or unintended external effect or externality on the others. There may be some positive externality may also be there. Like in case of the negative externality, the green revolution technology we have adopted, like they have caused harmful effect on the on the society due to excessive use of the agrochemicals, like the pollution or the contamination of soil, water, surrounding ecosystem and food chains. So actually we are not able to include these or we cannot estimate the harmful effect of such technology, the pollutions, the contaminations. So the cost of actually negative externality need to be properly assessed. It should be accounted in the the benefit cost analysis of a policy or project. Then another is the operational context. Here policy failure in this context are related to use of policy instruments, behavior of the key actors involved in the policy process, and the non-participatory approach followed in the policy process. These are the major causes for policy failure from the operational aspect. So overall on a particular form of policy instruments. So actually before the liberalization and globalization, actually the more focus was on the government and its appendages, its related departments, and actually they were developing the policies, and basically here the bureaucracy they used to implement the policies and programs related to agriculture and the pricing of agriculture. This is the one of the example, like administrative prices or minimum support prices. This was the government intervention to help the farmers. So before the liberalization, we were more focusing on the government and its branches or its appendages and the bureaucracy for implementation of the agriculture policy. But here the overrely on the government as instrument of policy process result in centralization of the power, or the centralization in inadequate feedback from the peoples or target beneficiaries, and that leading to efficiency, corruption, grids and bureaucratic high-handedness and other flaws. The another failures from the operational context is the excessive rent-seeking behavior of the key actors. Here, policy with a higher financial outlay, they are confronted with such problem. And actually, here the government or the bureaucracy, they want to the economic returns in out of the expenditure they have made in the policy or programs. So actually the excessive rent seeking behavior or extraction of directly unproductive profit by the key actor, these are the one of the reasons for the policy failure. Sometimes participation of the target group that also worsens the problem of these rent seeking behaviors. Or so actually politicians look at the immediate political gains and they act according to their own political convenience, and instead of broader ideology issues or humanitarian goals or economic implementation, they select the policy based on their interest. So state bureaucracy basically they used to support such behavior passively instead of being a neutral implementing agency. And another important aspect of operational policy failure is the overplay of the expert and economist in the policy formulation process. And they neglect the farmers and the key actors, and actually complete dominance of bureaucracy in the policy implementation stage lead to the failure of policy in agriculture. And now we can sum up the session that policy failure is basically inability of the policy to achieve this set objectives or reach the ultimate goal is termed as a policy failure. And there is external bad effect on the sometimes on the society, that is also a policy failure. And there are three contexts to understand the policy failure: the general context, the theoretical and operational context, and inadequate involvement or non-participation of the target groups also lead to the policy failure. Thank you very much.